Hey there, it's Chris. You know, somebody was asking me about this the other day, and I was in a class actually telling a little bit of getting started in real estate and how I got back to Shreveport. You know, I actually was born in East Texas. I was raised in Shreveport, graduated high school, and had a chance to go to California for college, so that's what I did. And so I came back here in 1996, said I would never, ever, ever come back to the South. Man, it's interesting what kind of things we do in our 20s. It ultimately ended up where I was calling my dad in December 1996 and saying, hey, Pop, and I think I cried. And I said, I need a little help. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 28 years old and I'm a college graduate and I'm supposed to be the smart one in the family. And I don't have 2 nickels to rub together, and I'm living with this lady I shouldn't be living with. Will you help me? And he said, yep, I'm gonna be there in 3 or 4 days, pick you up, and you're gonna come live with me. So that's exactly what happened. You know, it was February 4th, 1996. I still remember the day. I call it Independence Day because I was out of that situation I was in and into a new chapter in my world. We came back. I lived in a room over his garage. It was not hardship. My parents had a good, reasonably nice house. And it was actually my dad and my stepmother. And anyway, when we got there, my dad said, son, we're gonna have a little talk. I'm like, uh-oh. Pop's gonna talk. So we're sitting in that room. This is the night we get back, and he goes, all right, tell me a little bit of what's going on. So I shared with him that maybe I didn't make the bestest choices in my 20s. After I got done telling him the story, he goes, all right. You know how dads do. All right. He says, son, you may have to bleep this. He said, son, we're gonna do what's called an ectomy. We're gonna remove your head from your ass, and I'm gonna give you a chance to get started again. And I'm like, whew, yes, sir. And I was so grateful. That's what happened. I lived with my dad and my stepmother. I mowed grass, I cleaned house, I cooked dinners, I did everything I could. And then I got licensed in Louisiana as a real estate agent. I knew I loved the business. During that same year, I filed bankruptcy. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. They repoed my car right out of the driveway. A timeshare that I owned went back to the bank. I had a foreclosure that went foreclosed on it and back to the bank. There was a season in my life that I was worth probably about $40 and all the stuff that I owned, like some clothes and stuff like that, it all fit in a room above my dad's garage. Oh, and I remember when I got started, I filed that bankruptcy and I didn't trust anybody. I closed all my bank accounts. I operated in all cash because that's just the way I rolled. I was just scared of institutions and banks and the man. After about 1.5 years or so, my dad got sick and tired of me saying, hey dad, can you put this on your credit card and I'll pay you back? Finally, he said, no more. He said, son, you've got to start trusting again. And so he literally drove me to Western Federal Credit Union, Westla, and he says, I'm gonna make you open a bank account. And so that's literally what happened. I went there and I opened a bank account so I could start writing checks. And outside of that, I just had, if I had a commission check, I would go to the bank in which my brokerage had it drawn on, and I would just cash the check. So I might have $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 of cash in my hand. And it was funny. My dad one time says, what do you do with all this cash or whatever? And it wasn't like millions of dollars by any length of imagination. But I said, it's underneath my bed, Dad. And he goes, oh, you son, I thought I raised you better than that. So anyway, I didn't have a car. So it really started out where my dad, he worked weird hours. So he dropped me off at the office at 5 in the morning. I'd sleep under the desk for a couple of hours. And then I would get up and I would start dialing and smiling, looking for leads. And then all my clients had to come to the office because I couldn't go to them, unfortunately. I hired my little sister. She lived in Marshall at the time. And she came into town on Fridays and would drive me around to my listings so that I could service my listings, put up signs and riders and flyers and all that stuff required in order to sell real estate. That's how I got started in real estate in the Shreveport-Bossier area. after about 3 or 4 months or so, I had a couple of transactions close out. Unfortunately, my grandfather had passed away in 1996, and my dad had inherited this truck from him. It was an old '84 Chevrolet. I bought that from my dad for $100 down and $100 a month. So the air conditioning didn't even work on it. But that's how I got started in real estate. I just persisted and consistently sought after business and continued to grow and grow and grow and find people that I could help out. And you know, Zig Ziglar says it most wonderfully. You can get everything you want out of life if you only help enough people get what they want out of life. Moral of the story, a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. Sometimes we don't know when we hit bottom until we hit bottom. And that was a season in my life where I hit bottom and had a lot of awareness occur in my life. And then once I hit that bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So gratefully, I had those supported me and or around me and a chance to go. Those are some of my mantras I live by and how my world got started. So I hope you enjoyed the story. It was fun to me. It was tough at the time, but you know, 25, 26 years later, you know, I'm certainly grateful having gone through that for the person I've become as a result of going through that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. Comment on it. You know, we'd love you to subscribe and like our channel and all that good stuff. We're having fun putting out some content and talking about real estate in the area. Anyway, make it a beautiful day. Till next time, have a good one.